Hello. This is going to be a quick video. It's just talking about 8mm tapes and repairing of them. Now, you've seen me do a video a little while ago where I do some demolding of 8mm tapes. And mold is a particular problem with 8mm because the tape is so thin that it glues the tape together on the spools, and when you try to play it, it snaps in a very particular way. You get a long tear from one edge to the other. Now, I will take on mouldy tapes, and I have a technique which you will have seen me using some equipment over there which can get the mould off, but it's a time-consuming process. Now, these particular tapes have been sent to me by a customer because he sent a whole heap of these tapes to another video transfer business, and they ran 3 of the tapes only and said they can't do the rest, they're too mouldy. And the files they generated for those 3 tapes are extremely small. So looking at a 1.5 hour video, it's I think it was about 2 gigabytes for the entire file, so it's super compressed, very low quality. It's even unstable as well. Now, I don't wish to make a fuss and say that that lots of video transfer businesses are cowboys, but clearly some of them don't have a clue, and it makes me a little bit cross when you see work like that. The quality of the transfer that they've done is really poor, and furthermore, this is what they've done to the customer's tapes. So this is one of the tapes that's come to me. And where do we begin? Let's begin with the worst problem this tape has. It's clearly snapped because of mould, but can you see the repair they've done there? They've put, we call it sellotape in the UK, a brand of just ordinary domestic sticky tape around the videotape. So it's not been spliced, it's just been stuck on. Now, the problems with that are multiple and quite serious, because if you play that, you didn't realise, so you've been wound onto one of the spools and you played it, that will certainly, at the very least, it will contaminate the heads, so it will clog the video heads. It could be worse than that. The adhesive used in this sticky tape can spread, and go onto other parts of the spool. It could wrap around several times so that it can, you might find the damage, but actually some distance on, half a metre on, there's more glue, and that will get stuck to the heads. It can get stuck to the lower drum, which is static, and cause, you can get a situation where the adhesive comes off this onto the head drum and then goes from the head drum back onto the tape or onto other tapes. So it can do serious damage to the player. It can even destroy it in a serious case. So there's the first problem. They've used completely the wrong kind of joining tape, and they've got it on the wrong side. So they've got it on the side that meets the heads. You see, the back side is where the join should be, not the front. It's also, as you can see, very wonky. It's taut along that edge and all wobbly there. So it's been done by hand. What you should do, for a start, use the proper tape. This is videotape splicing tape. It only goes on the back, so it never touches the heads. And then you need a splicing block. Now, for 8mm, it is a little bit difficult because these aren't the easiest things to get hold of. This is an 8mm splicing block. You can get 1/2-inch ones for VHS and Beta and V2000 and that sort of thing. They're fairly easy to get. Edit Hall is a very well-known manufacturer of those, or used to be. I don't know if they're still in business. This is an 8mm one. I don't believe this one is made by Edit Hall. I had this one specially imported from the USA because they refused to sell it to me in the UK. I also have 1/4-inch ones, as you'd use on mini DV, I think is 1/4 inch. So you need a proper splicing block, and you'll have seen me on some of my other videos lay the tape in there, cut it, and put a small quantity of this. Sorry, I just hit you. Let's put a small quantity of this on the back of the tape and make a perfect join. What else have they done wrong? Well, the whole of the front of the cassette is missing. There should be an opening cover at the front of the cassette. Now you might say, well, it doesn't matter, you can still put that in a camcorder, it'll work. Well, some camcorders will play that, and some 8mm decks won't, and they can get quite upset. So if you try to put that into something like an EVS 9000, it will just go and be very unhappy with you. And of course there's a risk of damage. So yet more damage there. And of course the opening, there should be a spring-loaded opening thing. Oh, they've got the spring-loaded opener in there, but it's not latching the front mechanism, which is completely missing. I've had a lot of trouble with these, by the way, in the past, this spring-loaded thing with some brands of tape, and I think it's Maxell are particularly awkward. They have an awkward little spring that pings off into the distance when you take the cassette apart, and it's really quite hard to put back in place. And one of the other tapes that came in this set, two of the other tapes that came in this set, the other company have lost the record play switch, and one of the others they've lost the ratchet mechanisms. There's a spring and a ratchet which is there to stop the tapes from the spools from spinning. So multiple errors, what can you say? And of course they were anyway defeated by the mouldy tapes. So what they obviously do is shove it in the machine. If it snaps more than so many times, they say, nah, it's too mouldy, give up, throw away. So the customers come to me. I'm afraid I'm going to have to charge them a little bit because it's very time consuming, but I will clear all the mould off this tape and splice that, and any other splices that, or sticky tape repairs like that I find, I will splice them properly. And of course it's not just on 8mm I find sellotape repairs. They can happen on VHS and beta and anything, and the great hazard being that if it's deep inside the cassette, the first thing you might find out about it is when you play the tape and it suddenly fouls ahead or worse. So please don't use ordinary sticky tape on videotapes. It's extremely damaging. Well, I will leave it there. I will get on with this long, complicated job of demoulding these tapes. I hope you've learned a little bit from today's quick video. Do remember to please like, share, and especially subscribe. And I'll do more content on audio and video technology in the future. Bye for now.